Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and today we are going to fly the Cocksport CESSNA Citation Mustang once again. It's been a little while since we featured this beauty on my channel, and since then a lot of things have changed. For example, we now have the version 1.1 available, which features quite some changes to the FADEC and flight modeling, and we also have the Navigraph G1000 plugin featuring Navigraph charts heavily integrated into the G1000 avionics system. All those do promise to become quite some interesting features for our upcoming flight from Palm Springs towards Van Nuys Airport close to Los Angeles. So join me in the cockpit as we're about to make our way to our aircraft. Also a lovely livery here from flightsim.to, I have to say, really like that one. So you can go ahead and grab that for free on flightsim.to. Alright, here we are in our 510. We're gonna have a closer look into the cabin in a couple of moments, but until then, let's have a very quick look into our cockpit. You're all familiar with the Citation Mustang cockpit by now, no doubt about that, but did you know we have this little feature here for our checklists? Be aware, however, that these are only checklists for everything from starting the engines on. So apart from that, we gotta do the first one out of our manual ourselves. So basically, let's just have a very quick look over here on our phone to set all the features as we need them. So basically, let's make it for passengers, and that's about it. Alright, so close that down, and then we are also going to close down our hello there. We're also going to close down our door, provided we can actually find the handle. Here it is. Too many business jets, I tell you. Alright, here we go. That's our door closed, and then we can take a seat in the captain's seat. So quick check for the systems. We've basically got everything off over here, everything off over here, and the engines are off as well. Good. Okay then, battery can come on. Standby instrument switch is off, and basically everything is set. Alright, cool, then let's go ahead with the avionics power switch. Can switch that on to get our PFD alive. The flight plan itself we'll load after the engine starts so that we don't run the batteries dry. That's just how it is in this plane. Okay, no ATC online at the moment, so we are going to do this one as an offline flight. So let's commence our engine start. Anti-collision and nav light on, passenger safety switch on, and the air conditioning switch is off. Okay, very good. So we're going to start with engine number 2 and press that engine start switch. The engine does start to run up, and then we can switch our throttle into the idle position as well by clicking on the fuel cutoff switch down there. Okay, engine is starting up. Reset that master caution for now. Looks like we've got a good start on engine 2, then we can go ahead and start engine 1. Start spinning up. Then again, a little bit hard there to find the button, but here we go. For engine 1 it's a little bit easier than for engine 2. Okay, coming up nicely as well. Very cool, here we are. So, with the Navigraph G1000 plugin, right now we don't have the keyboard available. We don't have without the plugin either, by the way. But that is going to be something that will come with Sim Update 14. It's currently in the beta, and that is going to be a very appreciated update. Now, after that, third-party developers will have to make it compatible, but you get where I'm going with that. So I really hope that that's going to come anytime soon. Alright, for the flight plan we are going to use the Navigraph import function, so let me zoom out a little bit because it is rather hard to see. Okay, we've got the menu available down there when we rotate the outer knob, and on the inner knob we go to the flight plan catalog, and this is the latest SimBrief import we have available on here. So let's go ahead and select our upper flight plan, which is the latest that we have created. Now click on activate, and activate SimBrief flight plan. Okay, enter. And here we go, that is our flight plan uplinked and inserted. So let's have a quick look into the charts then, and into the different menus we have available. So first things first, that map over here, as nice as it is, we've got a little map on the primary flight display, which I am going to use like that, but which can basically be left sitting here like it is right now. On the big map, I want my en route charts and I want the safe taxi. So we go to the menu down here again, map, VFR, IFR charts, and this basically is the big Navigraph en route map, like what you're used to. So if we zoom out all the way, you can see this is the low altitude en route chart, and if we zoom in all the way, then we've got our safe taxi feature over here, which is pretty nice if you ask me. Alright though, from here on we can, for now, move back a little bit to the navigation map, and we can have a look into the charts down here to see if there is any departure chart that we might be interested in. First things first though, that ICAO code here does not seem completely correct, so let's go ahead and change that. Provided we can, please. Because it positioned us at the wrong airport, as you can see. So, that one's Palm Springs, that should be correct. I don't know why this is loading at a different airport here. Doesn't make a lot of sense if you ask me, but let's go ahead and change it. So, we are not in KBUDD, but we're in KSPS. Oh, sorry, PSP it is. KPSP, Palm Springs. That's where we are. And that's where we want the charts from. Right, enter, thank you. And then we are looking for departure charts. So let's have a look into all the different SIDs that we have available and see if any of that matches our flight plan. So we've got Palm Springs VOR there as our first waypoint. Thereafter we've got Jaca and Hokkaido. So let's have a look if any of these is actually along our route. If not, then we're just going to fly the vector departure, which is fine as well. But if we've got anything, then we do want to know about it. So from down here we could go to thermal VOR. Don't really need that. And the other one, if we have a look up here once again, that's the Cathedral 1 departure. You can see that Jaca actually just about departs Palm Springs VOR down there. So that looks about like something we could need, doesn't it? And in the meantime, I really don't know why this defaults to the other Palm Springs airport. Anyway, you can see we could use one of those departures, so why not go in here, select departure, and then we'll take the Cathedral 1 departure towards Palm Springs VOR. But which runway are we going to use? Well, let's find out by grabbing the latest weather. So, weather please, and I want my weather for KPSP. Palm Springs. Variable 4 knots, and it looks like 31 left is the closest runway to us for our departures. However, we could take 13 right as well. Both are visually stunning, but 31 left, in my opinion, is the more impressive one. So that's what we're going to take. 31 left, PSP transition, load that one up, and here we go. Alright, let's quickly find that SID. Cathedral 1, here it is. And it's basically straight out, right hand turn to the VOR, and then we're gonna make that strong left hand turn there towards Jaca. Not exactly ideal, but it is gonna work out. And actually, I just told you some nonsense. It is straight ahead over the VOR, but then you're gonna overflight, leave on 104 outbound 10 miles over en route, right hand turn, and then onto the route. That is what I call a sit, but with all the terrain around, it absolutely makes sense to fly that. If you have a look over here and over here, then you can see loads of terrain coming. Alright, anyway, that is the important thing that we wanted to take away from here, so let's go back to our save taxi, and then we can go ahead and start a taxi. What else do we have there? How about we fix that? Generators coming online, fuel boost pumps going into normal. Then wing stabilizer anti-ice stays off. PO and static anti-ice is going to come on. Windshield anti-ice is going to come on as well. Ignition stays normal. Anti-skid coming on. And then moving over here, we do need that beacon instead of the anti-collision. Air conditioning system coming on. Flaps going into the takeoff and approach position. And what's it looking like now? Only thing left is oxygen off. So we just about gotta fix that. Don't hit this one though. It does say oxygen, but hit the drop mask button and you are done for. But instead, we just gotta have to find that little button in this plane. That's the light controls up here. I do believe it was somewhere down and on the pedestal, but I might be mistaken on this one. So let me just about try to find the oxygen controls. Oh, here they are. Alright, perfect. Problem solved. You can see it's been a little while for me flying that plane as well. In terms of our PFD setup, we might just do that as well. So PFD options, altitude units, we're certainly going for inches today. And here we go, and then we can select our altitude. Well, at least we should. That button down here doesn't seem to be working right now, because we can use the one on the top over here. But interesting that this one just isn't modeled and doesn't have a click spot to it. The heading button does, the nav button does, the course button does. Only seems to be this one. Well, that's fine though. We'll go for 13,000 initially, and we're eventually going to climb to 17,000. And that is going to be all we need for that little short flight that we are about to do. Alright, back CDI, please go to GPS navigation, thank you. And that is about all we need then. So, transponder can come on, and I'm just going to put some random IFR code over here. Here you go, 2574. And that's it, transponder is on. Looks all good to me. Right then, taxi light on. 31 left is a turn out to the left, and then we're going to join Whiskey over here and head off to the runway. Very good, so park and brake is released. Let's see how we are going to avoid killing this gentleman over here. Clear right side. Clearing the left side. And this should be good. This is good. Just about, but it worked. So, small plane, we don't need to worry about wingtip clearance here. Okay, heading straight via Whiskey 2 onto Whiskey towards 31. Okay, looks good. Then let's go ahead and have a look into the B4 takeoff checklist. Starting with the flight controls. Like so. Okay, so avionic cooling fans, checked for airflow, fuel quantity, recheck, takeoff data is confirmed. FMS flight director set, we're gonna take off without the flight director. Pressurization, yeah, destination field elevation, still can't set that, unfortunately, in the G1000. So, electric elevator trim is checked and set. Flaps set for takeoff. Ooh. So, windshield anti-ice on. Pitot and static. Switch on. ICAS checked before takeoff checklist complete. So in case you're wondering why I went over the takeoff speed so quickly, we basically got it over here, rotated 95, and that's really all we need to worry about. Initial climb speed is 170 knots, but we'll set that up once we're in the air. Okay, cool, here we are. So, let's go back to the nav map for the takeoff. Let's select a decent range here. Something like that should be good. Alright, so landing lights on, anti-collision light on, and the transponder on. Very good, ready to go. Quick last check, did we forget anything? Nope, we didn't. Alright, let's go. Still takes quite a bit of thrust to get it rolling, that longitude here, but no idea if that is realistic or not. Alright, ready? Then, let's start the timer. Takeoff. Power set. $80 knots. Rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. So the Mustang isn't exactly a rocket, however, it still has plenty of power available. Okay, we're clear of any obstacles. Let's retract those flaps. And go back to climb power. So that's climb power set in both engines. Okay, so nav, flight level change, autopilot, and yaw damper. And we can accelerate straight away towards 170 knots of climb speed. Like so. Alright, so after takeoff, checklist. Landing gear up, flaps up, climb power set, yaw damper on, landing and recognition lights off, pressurization checked, and altimeters to go. After takeoff climb checklist complete. (2,000 feet a minute rate of climb. Not exactly the best, but then again, it is quite warm outside, flying here in the Californian desert. Okay, the right side is clear, and look at how smooth the autopilot's flying this. That's really smooth handling. Our passengers are going to appreciate that. What I always love to see as well is when the line indicating your turn is basically exactly on the magenta. So nicely making the turn here in the valley. Look outside the window is very good as well. We're clear of any traffic, we're clear of any birds. Things are basically looking the way they should. Alright, bye bye Palm Springs, see you next time. Looking out to the left, I would say that we are visual with the terrain, are we? I'll just wait until we finish that turn. So basically now. And then we are definitely clear of any terrain, so let's go ahead. Give ourselves a little shortcut here. Flight plan, and we can go direct to Jaka. Right, enter, activate, starting the left-hand turn towards the train. So the look outside is more important than ever now. But as we can see, we should be very well clear. So let's continue the climb, looking for slightly higher altitude here. Something in the region about flight level 180 or flight level 200 is going to be perfectly fine for our short trip towards Van Nuys. That is certainly not going to take too long. Looking at about 150 miles over the ground here. By car though, I'm not sure if I would want to drive through the desert here. So probably taking the plane is the better option here. At least if you've got the money to spend, then taking the plane is the better option anyway, is it? So if we have a look at the map now, we can see we've got quite a left-hand turn in here. So as soon as we are clear of the terrain over there, we're going to give ourselves a direct to Papa Mike Delta, Palmdale as far as I'm aware. Might be wrong on that. If you know better, then certainly let me know in the comments below. Maintaining the roughly 2,000 feet a minute nicely here, losing about 100 feet a minute or so, totally acceptable for what we're doing at the moment. Alright, I would say we're clear of those hills over there, so let's take the direct to Palmdale. Flight plan, stroll down, here we go. Papa Mike Delta, direct to activate. Palmdale it is, indeed. Okay, going through 10,000. Let's just about monitor that turn, and then we can start our check in a moment. Even though, on the Mustang there isn't really much to check. The plane is built for single pilot operation, one of the few that actually is. Well, not in terms of the very light jet category, of course, but certainly in terms of the overall IFR jet capability that we have in the sim and in real world. Even though in the sim, single engine or single pilot certified jets seem to be a little bit more popular than in real life, but I suppose both is going to work either way. Okay, so very quick check then, passing 10,000. We can switch our signs off. We're going to keep the lights on. Air conditioning is on, and looking at this, cabin altitude is nicely climbing as it should. Okay, nice. So let's just about go back to the en route chart over here. Pretty much like so. It takes a little getting used to having your en route chart over here, but it starts making sense pretty quickly when you take into account that you've got the nav map live down here, and then over here we've got the en route chart. And there's a certain couple of things that I really like my en route chart for that I don't have available on the nav map. For example, in here we've got that red area around the L35 airport over there, but looking into the en route chart, it looks totally fine. Can also go for the VFR chart, by the way, if we want to, so that in here we could check what this is about, but to me, I'm totally happy with the IFR low chart for what we're doing at the moment. So on a short route like this, Simbrief actually just planned us at flight level 160, but I just decided I want to go a little bit higher because of number one, all the mountains that we've got ahead over here. Imagine leveling off in just about 1,200 feet and flying just above the mountaintops. That is fine. However, keep in mind the danger of bird strikes. You've got rather large windows here in the Mustang, and even though obviously certified and so on, I wouldn't want to trust the ICAO standard chicken to resemble the actual eagle that you're eventually going to hit. So for that reason, let's just climb up a little bit higher. Also, let's have another look of what that looks like from the outside over here. Mind your ears. Here we go. Looking quite impressive, isn't it? Okay, cool. So, if you are wondering where I've got some of that knowledge of the C510 about, the Citation Mustang was one of my very first jets in Flight Simulator, and that used to be back in the days of Flight Simulator X still. And back in the day, Flight 1 had a very nice Citation Mustang, which had a very extensive manual, and I still have that manual. You can find it online on the internet as well, by the way, and it contains a lot more details than the original Cockspur manual that comes with the product. So if you are looking for a little bit of background information or maybe some climb and cruise and descent performance tables, then I can very much recommend you to search for the Flight 1 Mustang manual. Even though it is a slightly different version, it's not the High Sierra version like this one is, but it still contains most of the data that you really need for your flight. So certainly recommendable to have a look into that and to have a look into that and to use it to enhance your knowledge of the Cockspur Citation Mustang that we are flying right now. Okay, transition altitude. Set standard. Standard thrust check, passing flight level 180 now. Checked. Oh man, I really get too much into those Airbus calls. I'm just about thinking about, what was that call again on the Boeing? And I can't even remember, man. Oh boy, it's really been a while. Even though it's just literally been half a year now since I did my last Boeing flight, but you get into new procedures so incredibly quickly. Okay, approaching 1,000 to go. Let's do vertical speeds plus 1,000 here. And we just let the speed increase. Ultimately, we're looking for something about 230, 240 knots that we should be able to do in cruise at this altitude. And once our speed has increased a bit further, we're going to change our engines into the cruise detent, which is the CIU that we can see down here. And with the engines in CIU, basically we can let the plane go and accelerate to our best possible speed. Do note, however, that cruise detent in this airplane is not similar to what you would do in the Airbus. People do tend to get a little bit confused when flying the Mustang. Like, you obviously got the toga and the climb detent notches on your throttle, but then you also have the cruise detent. Now, cruise on this airplane just means it's the maximum power available for your cruise. It does not mean something the likes of implying that you'd have an auto throttle or such. You don't, but totally honest, you don't need it either on this plane. You really don't need it either. Alright, we got alts and alts. Here we go, here we are. So let's see how fast we can get with this. And while it is accelerating, we might as well have another look into the charts for our arrival into Van Nuys already. It's going to be January 5 arrival, and it's correctly loaded that up. And we took a shortcut here towards Palmdale down here. Let's get that visible a bit better. Alright, so that's Palmdale below 13,000. And with that, you can already see that we'll have to start our descent fairly soon. So let's quickly go ahead, go for procedures, select arrival, and then we'll take the January 5 arrival. With the transition, well, honestly, we don't really need any, but I suppose it's not going to let us not take any. So let's take the January transition, as that is essentially what we've got on our route as well. Right, might load that one up, and now we've got Palmdale, January, and then onto the arrival. And for the arrival itself, let's have a look into the approaches, and first of all into the weather we've got available. So in Van Nuys at the moment, 350 at 11, sky clear, 31 degrees, 3001. 31 degrees at the end of October, early November. Man, that is lovely. Okay, so our speed is pretty much stable. Let's go back into the CRU detent. Here we are. And that's basically where we're gonna land it. 300 knots true airspeed, fairly nice. 10 minutes to run towards Palmdale. And towards our top of descent, even less. So, gotta enjoy the views while they last. And then we'll have to start getting back to work already, preparing our approach into Van Nuys. So 350 at 11, that certainly implies landing north, so 34 left is probably what it's going to be. So let's have a look at what they've got available on that runway. Okay, they've got the 16s, and that's about it. So let's have a look into what there is. We might have obviously always just fly circling, but let's see what we've got. So LDAC, show me that chart please. Well, nope. Might as well just come down with the ILS from the north then. What's the wind again? 350 at 11. Well, the max tailwind for our plane is 10 knots, so we cannot do that. So we just gotta find something for landing northbound. Let's quickly check the other arrivals that we've got. VOR Alpha, how's that looking? Nah, not really. VOR Bravo. Nah, not really. Well, in that case, I suppose it's going to be the ILS Zulu 16 right, followed by circle to land into the other direction. Okay, we're coming in via Umber, so let's select an appropriate approach. ILS Zulu onto 16 right, Umber transition. Minimums is going to be barometric and 1095. Let's go ahead, dial that in. So 1095, obviously make that 1100. But we've just quickly got to check if there is any circling minima available, but it doesn't really look like it. Okay, so no circling minima over here, so I'm just going to tune the, I'm just going to tune that. And we can load that in. Yes, please. Thank you. And here we go. Okay, so that's that stuff. let's have a quick look into our VNAV data then. And we are just going to fly that circling approach visually over there. So in terms of VNAV, 1560 feet a minute is targeted for a Jenny at 8,000, and that does mean we cross Palmdale at 12,748, which is below 13,000 that we had on the charts, so we're good with that restriction. So our top of descent in 2.5 minutes is certainly valid for us at the moment. Apart from that, let's have a quick look into the references. But that is all as we needed already, so that stuff is fully set up. We can just leave it as it is. Good. So, the ILS frequency should have been pre-tuned as far as I have seen that. But just looking onto the approach once again, 111.3 is active on both sides. Actually, it's standby on both sides. So we might as well just switch that. No, it's active. It is active. 111.3 is active. Final approach course 164. The plane should tune that for us automatically. The minima is set. So that's really all that we need. Perfect. We need any of that? Not really. We're going to park over here. So landing 13 left. Going to vacate to the right. Hopefully by a kilo. That might save us a little bit of taxi time, but might be a bit too ambitious there. Look down like that. Yeah, we might be able, just about be able to make kilo. We just got to be careful. Kilo is that first one before the other runway, but if we are past kilo, then we got to cross runway 34 right, and then taxi down here to the hangars. So that's something to be careful with, that we don't accidentally cross a runway that we're not supposed to cross. For a start then, let's quickly confirm the arrival as it is in here. So, Palmdale, Jenny, Puck, Eiffel, Umber. And we've got Jenny, Puck, Eiffel, and then Umber is on the next one already. Very good. And if we just want to confirm that the altitude restrictions are correct, so we've got Jenny and Puck at 8, Eiffel at 7, Umber at 6. Yeah, that is what we had on the chart as well. 8, 8, 7, 6. Perfect. Okay, very good. So, not sure if you're familiar with the chart options we've got over here, but let me quickly show you. For example, we have the approach page over here. Going on chart options, we can say, for example, we want to see only the header, or we want to see only the profile, or the minimums, providing us with very quick access for all the relevant data we might be watching, or we might be asking for. Plan mode also just gives us the middle part, and if we're over here on the alt, then we can rotate clockwise and we can rotate counterclockwise, once again providing us with a fairly easy means to control our charts on the G1000. Alright, so that's pretty much it. We've reached our top of descent. Let's go ahead and start our way down. I'm going to start with 13,000 as that's our first crossing restrictions. Then let's arm VNAV path and we'll go into level change over here. Start increasing our speed. Looking for 240 knots over here. Then we can slowly take our cruise power back. Just gotta make sure we don't descend too steeply. Overall passenger comfort is also something that we do want to think about at least a little bit when flying in business aviation. Just something that I would encourage all of you to think about. Now, those 7.5 degrees we had for a short while, totally okay, but if it's becoming much more, then be sure to take control. It's your plane after all. So, seatbelt signs coming on. And this should be all we need right now. Vertical speed required 2,100. So tell you what, vertical speed 2,100, here we go. Passing transition level, set altimeter 3001. Cross-check, passing 17,100. Now, checked. Okay, let's grab the checklist. Descent, pressurization, verified field elevation, anti-ISDI systems off, altimeters, 3001 second cross-check, landing data. Let's have a very quick look into here and determine our approach speed. So, for that, you should have some data available. However, I can't really seem to find it in the Coxbow manual. So what I'm going to do instead, I am going to take the data from the Flight 1 citation manual, and I'm just going to rely on that. So, looking at that one, unfortunately I can't show you on screen, but basically for our weight at 8,000 pounds, it's giving us VREF for flaps 30 of 94 knots, so shouldn't be much of a problem there. Let's continue our descent. 8,000 is the next altitude that we are looking for. Here we go, 8,000 set. Alright, so down here, let's see, we've got VREF 94 knots, enter, and that's it. Alright, cool. Well, pull the flight plan page back up over here so that we keep seeing our vertical speed required. 2,000 feet a minute now. Let's make sure that that's dialed in correctly. And here we go. Really like how easy it is. Just deselecting the VNAV mode here. For some reason we don't seem to get any VNAV information on our altimeter. Not sure what happened there. Over here we certainly can see the active VNAV profile. And we can see from the bottom of descent over here that we have passed the top of descent in the G1000 logic internally. But for some reason we don't get any VNAV information over here. But not 100% sure if that's by design or if it's not. In any case, it is fine for what we're doing with it. Okay, so minimum set, descent checklist complete. Approaching over the mountains where we don't disturb too many people, I suppose. But where we certainly are going to get the very best look of all the possible approaches over here. What I always find amazing, on that side of the mountains over here, we've got pretty much desert. On that side of the mountain over here, we are really running into the greenish areas. I find that quite impressive, to be honest. Alright then, landing lights coming on, as we're about to pass 10,000. Now in the US you can turn them on from transition altitude onwards, so you can turn them on from 18,000, but I suppose in the end it comes down to whatever you feel is best there. Okay, let's leave the speed under control. We don't want it to run away too quickly. Let's have another quick look into the approach chart. Okay, we got to cross both Jenny and Puck exactly at 8,000, as you can see over here. So I'm just gonna let the descent rate stay till we level off. Reaching Jenny in half a mile now. Leveling off, good. Let's put the cruise back up all the way to the CR notch, like so. From here we're going to start our turn towards the final for runway 16 left, and then we're going to do the circling visually onto runway 34 left. Can't quite see the field yet, but not surprising, we're still like way out. Something I actually never understood when I flew to the US, like, why do they get you so low on so many arrivals so early? Right. We've got 1,000 to run, but we've got to be in 7,000 by Eiffel. For that reason, I'll just let the vertical speed stay where it is. 1,500 feet a minute is good. Beautiful going over the train that low. As much as it hurts the economist pilot within me, it really inspires the human being of myself. Seeing all that terrain from up that close, that's really beautiful. That is really beautiful. I can only imagine what it must be like to live in one of the houses over here. That seems incredible to me. That must be like one of those places where you'll just be like, yeah, that's where I want to be. At least from the skies it looks like that. You never know about what kind of social problems there might be. Okay then, continuing the descent. 1,500 feet a minute. We're like 13 miles out. Let's see if we can already receive the ILS. Yes, we do. Right, localizer captured. Then let's go ahead and capture that glide slope. Over there is our field. Now I'm gonna shoot a typical business jet approach with this, meaning I'm gonna fly as fast as possible for as long as possible. The next altitude restriction, 3,800. Let's dial it down. Man, I wish I could ever do an approach like that in real life. Certainly at this speed. Just beautiful. Incredible and beautiful. Okay, dialing the altitude down to 1,000 above the minimum, which is going to be 2,100. And that's going to be our circling altitude as well. Okay then, engines to idle. Watch the speed starting to drop there. And remember that we're still doing 2,000 feet a minute. That's quite an impressive performance of the plane slowing down. Okay, we got 1,000 to run. We can already offset the heading bug. It's gonna be 115 for a breakout. Actually, we're circling the other way around, so it's gonna be 205. Okay, heading. Right, approach flaps. Going to maintain 170 over here. Okay, let's reset that timer. Started, we're wings level. Flying standard circling approach now. Okay, 20 seconds back onto the 160 track. And then, before landing checklist, windshield anti-ice switches off, seatbelts, tables, passenger safety, landing lights on, holding at the landing gear. Okay, so we have passed the beam the landing runway threshold. Let's make it 20 seconds into the direction over here. Okay, that is 20 seconds up. Let's start the left-hand turn. Heading 340 is what we're looking for. Like so. And we can start slowing our plane down. There's our runway in sight. So, autopilot off, yaw damper off, and flight director off. All manual now. Gear down. And then landing flaps can be extended from 150 knots of speed. So basically now. And that completes the landing checklist. Okay, on the puppy, getting down on the speed. And just about stable through 500 feet. That is acceptable. Keeping a little bit extra, as I am expecting we might get some turbulences here over the forest. 14 knots, that could certainly mean that it might become turbulent. Puppy used to be 3 red, corrected. Okay, idle, flare, but not too far, please. Touched. And look at how well this thing is slowing down. Here we are already. Right, cool. Then we can take the first one to the right. without the runway crossing as we briefed on the approach. So, nice little 30-minute flight. And you're all very warm welcome to Van Nuys. Okay, nobody on the approach for 34 right. That is quite important going over here. Then let's just get out of the approach area, onto the parallel taxiway, and then we're going to clean the airplane up. Right, we'll just about keep it here. So, after landing, pitot and static switch. Off, speed brakes, retracted, we never used them. Flaps, takeoff and approach. Then landing and anti-collision light. We don't need that, we don't need that. And radar is standby anyway after landing checklist complete. Okay, cool. So, let's get our... safe taxi. Here we go, that's what we're looking for. And we're gonna taxi straight to the NatJets apron. So, no parking, leased area. Okay, well, then we are just gonna continue. Nah, I don't think we fit behind those jets. So we're gonna fit behind one of these. Or just in front of them. I think that's the nicer option. Here we are. Right, park brake set. You can give me the shutdown checklist. And first thing on the apron, we can switch that transponder to standby. Right, air conditioning switch. Off. Standby instruments. That switch actually isn't modeled here. Alright, passenger advisory switch. Off. Exterior and interior lights. Off. Avionic power switch. Off. Oxygen supply handle. Pull to cutoff. So, throttles after ATT stabilized at a minimum value. It is now. I'm not gonna get that to any less than this. And that has been for 2 minutes already as well. So, let's try to find the click spots to shut them down. 1, 2. That was easy. That was easy to find. Okay, cool. So, just gonna wait until they have completely run down. Well, that N2 is certainly low enough. Beacon off, battery off. And that is the shutdown checklist pretty much completed. Alright, very cool. So, here we are, we've made it. And that was quite an interesting approach to fly, wasn't it? Certainly, I love it how you can fly those business jets, how much drag they have, how you can speed with them all the way on the final. They're just like, you know, just like that new car that has all that performance. And I'm saying all that while we've been flying a Citation Mustang, which, at least among business jets, certainly isn't the one that's known for the most performance of all. In any case, that was a fun little flight to do over here. I do hope that you guys have enjoyed it just like I did. Do let me know in the comments below, and leave a like if you did indeed like it, as it does help with the YouTube algorithms. If you're up for more, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, but in the meantime, I'd like to say thank you very much, and if you're up for more, don't forget to subscribe. And in the meantime, I see you all again on the next one.